hard out here for transsexuals and drag queens, as well as drag kings, but it's a little bit more harder on them, I think.
Nobody calls me shit.
Period. A little bit more prejudice, I think, because a lot of clubs don't, here in North Carolina, well, here in Raleigh, don't choose to book a lot of the drag kings.
It's a lot of work back here to do this, Nation.
It's worth it. It's gonna be an awesome show.
My boy Ignacio right here. He does my hair. I don't go nowhere else unless he pack, which he usually, most of the time, sometimes is. So he down here off of Atlantic Spring Road. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the address by heart like that, but I'm gonna throw him out there. We're gonna get
Say it's 5440.
5440 Atlantic Springs Road. You know what I'm saying? Your boys will hook you up. Got El Truco over there, but he's not here right now. Leo, we're very early. We VIP. They shut the door. A male illusionist, in my perspective, what I do, I'm a female. I live my life as a female. I just transform into a male, preferably the artist or somewhat like the artist. I kind of have my own persona. Nation is my persona. I'm a real person. I'm a real girl, you know, but I have kind of an alter ego, and that is released on stage. Male illusionist embodies a man. You cannot have a comparison whether this is a female or a male, because you're already thinking that it's a male because of the outwardly appearance and the way that the gestures are, the movements, the everything about that person, that entertainer, have to encompass a male, preferably the entertainer that is singing the track that the MI is impersonating. I think it's more reality. It's more of like a drag king to me is sparkles, shine. I do have my fair share of the sparkles and stuff, but a male illusion is more of a spirit thing. It's movements as a male and feeling like there's no way in the world that this could be a female that you're looking at. So I like that whole the whispers and stuff like that in the crowd, like, oh, is that a girl? You know, I like that because I take all of that off at the end of the night. At the end of the night, after the show is done, it comes off.
If I had to name my hand, I name this bitch the Justin Bieber.
What is wrong with
I got the Justin Bieber.
That's not right. That's not right. It's not even funny.
That just depends on how you interpret it. I got a bomb ass hand. Maybe I love Justin Bieber.
What is a Justin Bieber hand?
You about to find out. Pay attention to these cards. And this is how I feel about Justin Bieber.
I'm an image looking for something.
Let's just say we have some extracurricular activities that we both have in common.
Okay. And we just hit it off. And she found out who I was, and she was cool with me. Like, yeah, Image, we go back. When I needed a friend, God supplied me with Image.
Was Nation performing when you met her?
Yeah, she was performing, but she didn't have a car. So
this is one of my crowns. This is from South Florida International Stud. This is my sash. This is when I won it, 2008. I reigned for actually 2 years instead of one. 2008 and 2009 I reigned. In that pageant, I won every category. It's Mr. Tar Heel State. It says first alternate, but I actually was the MI in that because the actual winner, he won by default because I was late. But I won every category in that pageant as well.
So Nation, but she had shows on shows on shows. I ain't gonna front. She had, I mean, she could be in Alabama, she could be in Mississippi, she could be in Memphis, we done been to Oklahoma.
This nigga, I remember we was riding down the street one day. Just chilling, like neither one of us. We both was on unemployment. We didn't have a job. We were looking for employment, looking for jobs.
Back then I had this PT Cruiser. We used to call it, what was it? It used to be Touring. It was a Touring edition. It was limited. It did pop, pop, pop.
We riding down this strip, and we saw a homeless dude with a sign. This idiot pulled over and wanted to take a picture on her iPhone with the homeless dude.
And we used to take that PT Cruiser. That joint went up and down the East Coast, straight up into the Midwest.
This nation will rise up.
I want y'all to get ready to get those dogs out.
So you
know what I'm saying?
did Drag King shows?
No, I just had fun with Nation and got paid for it. Got paid for it. I was Nation's little secret rep in that times.
Yo, DC, I need y'all to show Virginia some love right now. Y'all show them some love. They all pretty and red.
So they call theirs the Dom show, and then they have stud shows. And
It's so many categories.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. Like even in my game, we got MI females and we got MI transgendered. MI transgendered are females that don't consider themselves women. They consider themselves as men. They think that they were born that way. They think that the outwardly appearance is not what they are inside. You know, that's transgender. That's not what I am.
not every drag king tapes.
Right.
You
If
just,
they're
you
doing-
just choose to tape.
No.
No.
Male illusionist tape. Drag kings, all of them, they don't have to if they can pull it off.
Duct tape is a great one. Ace bandages. Sometimes we use a little, anything that'll get them down.
Okay.
For me, it's a little bit harder because I'm a little larger than normal. But I mean, whatever it takes to get them down.
But if I'm in competition with a drag king that does not tape, I probably win.
Right here, right now, the best entertainment in the town. Coming near you, you need to get your money. Fight your way to the front because it's going down. Right here, right now.
You came to Atlanta to go to Job Corps. At what age?
I came to Atlanta with a job.
And you are
That's Playboy.
Playboy.
Tyree.
What's up?
It's Nilla, right?
Yeah.
Pay attention what's going on. This is the father.
This is Sincere. I'm Leslie. Nice to meet you. I had to get the the reunion on camera.
I met Nation back in the 90s as Terminator. A little hard rock young fella. Følmmaker is what I used to always call little Tyree. And I was a rebel myself back in the day, but they kind of looked up to me because of my entertainment value, and I entertain to everyone. I don't just limit it to certain people. I make sure everybody has a good time with my shows.
Yeah.
And they just grew on me as a family, and then Sincere became my brother.
Okay.
So that made Nation my nephew, but I took on the role as Nation's godfather, so that's why they call me G-Paw.
I was nervous. Never been to Atlanta before ever. And we were going to the clubs like just a group of us, like the newbies, just load up and get dressed up and going to Atlanta for the first time type thing. You know, we was all excited. So, isn't that where I met you at G-Pop? Sleazy Queasy. That sums it up. Then cut to the quick. It's like that's a strip club for drag queens and kings. But it ain't no strip. Like they don't strip. It's built like a strip club. Like just a big open space. People are seated down there to see a show. That's what they come to the club for. Is it always packed like that? Always, usually. I had seen it the week before that they had like competitions, and I wanted to get on and see how I could do it. So I did Nice and Slow by Usher. That was my first performance, and I was nervous, but I was really into thrusting a lot. You know, that was my thing. You know, honestly, that's where they saw me. The Tyrees saw me, and that's where my life changed.
Well, our family is basically, it's been around. It's been around for many years, but it's just we decided to do our family 7 years ago.
It's a group of females, women. Some are male illusionists, some are femme queens, which are female illusionists, but they're females.
The same thing I was doing for the gay man, he was doing for the lesbian girls.
People that do lip sync, that perform regularly or want to start performing. Basically, you get in when you have a family, you have heads of the family, like, you know, referred to as the mother and the father, like we are. And basically, we're in charge of doing, like, the recruiting for the family, or we're the people that people need to talk to if they're trying to get into the family. And what we do is show guidance to them, show some people how to entertain. Some people, you know, like to look at it, but they don't really know how to you know, showcase their own talents. So we work with them behind the scenes a lot, getting them ready so they can hit the stage and look professional when they do that. That's where we picked up Nation at. When we first picked up Nation. Actually, Nation was our first child in our family once we started it. We started it with just me and Heavenly, and right after we started it, Nation came right behind it, because at the time, you know, he was in Job Corps at the time, and he was on stage. I refer to Nation as he. I'm in front of all our kids. If they do male impersonation, they are he to us. If they films, of course, we call it she's, but.
And is that, I just have all the time? Or
All
just
the time.
Okay.
That's all the time. And it's at first, you know, some people just do it regularly. I do it all the time, because to me, somebody that looks like a boy, I just have a hard time calling them she.
Actually, I was friends with them way before I became a Tyre. And it's funny because I actually had to, even though we was friends, I still had to act right and play my part before I was even accepted to be a Tyre, because I had a lot of little problems that the Tyrees, you know, wasn't really trying to deal with right then. But when I got it together, I actually was accepted, and I'm sorry, I gotta do it.
Nice,
That's
you got to.
Can we see the head again?
Yes.
See the head, that's nice.
I love my family.
That's beautiful.
This is life right here.
You consider yourself a male illusionist or a drag king?
Yes.
Okay. In life or just on stage? I mean, are you a transgender female?
I'm not transgender because I'm not taking hormones.
Okay.
I mean, it gets kind of complicated with that, because a lot of times when you define yourself as transgender, people will say, "Oh, most transgender people are taking hormones or doing something to alter their body." And I'm not doing any of that. All of my stuff is natural.
Okay.
I mean, it's just certain stuff about me is just point blank natural, like the facial hair. And be like, how did that grow? It just grows out my face. It just natural.
What's the problem with the facial hair thing? Talk to me about
Ain't
that.
no problem.
Some people
I
are
ain't
just
got none.
have baby faces,
Let me see.
you know, and haven't grown any. I got about, I got 9 of them. Yeah, they haven't got any. It's right there. It's all me.
Well, Heavenly, I'm curious, what did you think when you first met Sincere?
He was different. He definitely struck my eye. I had a person I was, I guess you would say, dating prior. But within, 2 days,
Oh, wow.
I had gotten rid of them because it was out with the old and in with the new. And this is a person that's meant for me. You know, everybody has that mate out there that they want or that they need to be their other half where they lack.
Right.
And this is my other half.
Right. And excuse my ignorance, I have to ask because of the film. Are you female? Are you you are a female?
She's
born and bred female. Okay.
She birthed
You
the
look
babies.
like one, but I have to ask.
She birthed the babies.
I birthed the kids.
The Paris part of her name, like she should have explained, comes from The reason why it gets kind of confusing with her is because, like, when she puts on makeup and stuff, she has a drag mother. The difference between the houses is one thing to be in a stud in a femme house, and one thing to be in a male family.
That's on you.
Put some lotion on it. Put lotion on it.
Let me see yours.
So he gets kind of confused there. And then they paint heavy. They paint like drags, even though she's a film. The pageant that's up there, when we went there, when we pulled up, they already had our entry fee paid. But that was in Florida. We went all the way to Florida. When we pulled up and we was running in, she had got painted in the car. That's how late we were. So her drag mother was painting her in the car. And when she went, so she was all dragged out. So if you looked at her, she looked like a drag. I mean, she was beat though. Her face was, she was beautiful, but.
Yes, baby.
Those are baby.
Pops is really good about if we come to him and ask him, we want to do a show for whatever reason. He's real good about making that extra effort to get us on the show. So it really depends on who got a birthday party or something like that. But pretty much, hopefully we get on the show next weekend.
Those are my crowns over here. These are male crowns.
Those
are male crowns.
Those are female.
These are heavy crowns, and this is.
Oh wow, yeah, just hold one up.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So speak our pageant queen.
Yeah. They live it, they breathe it. They do pageants, they do competitions, they do balls, they do it all. So
whenever I run for a talent, I run for a pageant, I want them to remember me. I don't want them to remember the person after me or whoever. I want them to go way back to when I won and say, oh no, I remember when Heavenly won that pageant. Nobody else has done it better.
I push Nation real hard because Nation just has so much talent that Nation just keeps in, and it's like just waiting to get out there. And with North Carolina, I think North Carolina has been a setback for Nation because Nation has won some pageants in North Carolina, but had Nation stayed here when he was in Atlanta, Nation would have all these trophies by himself.
To be under the wing of someone who all around is an entertainer is a blessing, and he taught me a lot of things that no one has ever taken the time to teach me. You know what I'm saying? And I think another reason why I take so much pride in this craft because it was taught to me with pride.
They're out there and they do good stuff, and it's not all about looking good, but you have to have a good image for people to look at.
Yeah.
And I just like the way that he took what I call not even trouble kids, but kids that wayward kids that you probably wouldn't have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
And brought them to where they're a knit, close family and they do stuff together. And it's really inspiring because a lot of people look up to him.
Okay.
Just like he looked up to me, and we looked up to our father, Andre Starr, who's not with us anymore. He's in heaven.
Okay.
That was the true entertainer who gave us an outlook and gave us something that we wanted for.
They totally took me and trained me in a way that molded me for the craft. This craft that is called male illusionist. Since I came down to Raleigh about 8 years ago, I met Little Nation. He was the only one of his kind down here. And it sort of shocked me because at first I thought he was well, this is not to soup your head up, Nation, but I really thought that he was a guy. And so, after a while, me and Nation, we became really cool. And from off gate, we appreciated and respected each other. But, we just got closer throughout the years. And to this day, I love him.
That was awesome.
Me and Bree, I used to perform with Bree, but I didn't think she liked me. So we've actually gotten closer within the last 2 years. That's like my sister. Like, we talk all the time.
I live my life like this every day.
So you do dress in full women every day?
Minus all this makeup. You probably just pass me on the street. Just be like, oh, that's a big girl, I think he's an excellent performer. Excellent.
excellent.
Well, he speaks very high. She
Do you
speaks
see
very
other
highly.
MIs on the scene, or is Nation kind of the only male impersonator that you really have encountered?
Now, see, they're going to kill me for this. Well, I see a lot of people, but I don't see them.
Okay.
But as far as someone that's making a mark, and you understand?
There's a lot of talent, but no one's doing anything with it.
Right. And in Nation's case, Nation is actually paving a way and making it a little bit easier, hopefully, for the next young king that comes out.
What's your average? Like, is this your living? Is this what you do full time?
Oh, this is part-time.
Part-time.
It all depends on the crowd.
Yeah.
I see these new girls coming up and they know none of the history, none of the things that it takes to do what we do.
Yeah.
Some people think, oh, I can just throw in a heel and a skinny jean and I'm a girl. No.
Well, you know.
If you want to be a woman, lashes, nails, heels.
Oh, I'm out.
Oh, what?
No, tell us about the
No,
whole
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yeah, real one.
all?
Because on a certain night you can come out there with $100 and some dollars.
Nice.
Some nights you might make 20.
Always be acting. Always be acting. This young thing right here.
This is my baby right here.
Talent at its finest.
So you're in the House of Revelman?
Yes, I'm in the House of Revelman.
Tell us about it. Yeah, how'd you become involved?
What's a house?
A house is, I'm going to take a scene from Paris is Burning. It's a gay gang.
Okay.
It's basically a family, you know, we look out for each other, we walk balls.
Can you define the difference for us between the pageants and balls?
It's not really a big difference because if you look at Paris is Burning and you compare pageants, some of the categories back then and some of the categories that they have now.
Okay.
It's like they're almost cousins. In the ballroom scene, there's different categories. There's runway, like I said, Vogue, and all these other categories. Where in a pageant, it's...
Oh, girl, answer the question.
I'm trying to. I'm giving them examples of everything. I'm trying to break it down so they know. Trying to give a comparison. Compare and contrast. In pageants, there's evening gowns, formal wear, question and answer, solo talent.
So it's a real pageant. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just like Miss America.
What did we just say?
We're going to do a song we got.
Oh, more to come. More to come. Is it more to come? More to come.
This is just the beginning, baby. I want a sound effect today.
Oh, shit. Okay. And then, oh, yes, the videographer. She's fab. Yes, ma'am.
Can we go back to the conversation we were having earlier? So you went into the club and you saw the drag queens and you were like, if they could do it, I could do it. You are a black woman from Wilmington, North Carolina, Bible Belt. Your family is very Christian. You didn't have any reservations about how this was going to go over on your real biological family?
Of course, but I didn't think about it on the platform that I'm trying to reach for. I didn't think of it like this. I didn't think that I was going to be living this, breathing this. I didn't envision that this would turn out to be the craft, the art form that it is today, and where it's gotten me. I didn't think about that. I just thought, you know, I was on stage for a while. Good childhood. It wasn't horrible. I wasn't in the hood. I was just in your little, town. It wasn't even a community. It was like a little community. I grew up in Topsail.
Topsail was like kind of like boring. It's by the beach. It's a nice place, nice area down there.
This is cousin from knee high. We were just looking at some pictures, and we got the same dresses on. We're about 4 years old.
We ain't had no gang. We ain't had no craziness going on.
A couple times we've had little bonfires. Always eat good.
But at the same time, you always had to make the best of what you got there. That's probably what brought a lot of talent out of her.
As a child, she's always been
very high spirited. She liked to sing. She liked to do her own thing at all times.
Kind of what she does now, how she entertains, she can command your attention.
I used to run through my grandmother's house. Got this little mark right here. I ran through my grandmother's house. She just cleaned the sliding glass door, double pane, and I hit one of the panes, broke the first pane, left my forehead on the other pane.
I don't understand what happened. She was flying through it. It was clean though. It was clean. She ran slammed through it, the whole thing.
That was painful.
It was funny because Curl face and Laine was still hurt, but Curl was still like talking like, okay, you shouldn't have been doing this. You shouldn't have been doing it. If this wouldn't have happened, it was. My grandma, I love her to death.
I moved to Apex, North Carolina when I was a sophomore. So I played in the band in Apex, and then I got into drama and theater, and I was into that real hard in my senior year. I really loved the feeling that I had when I was doing the plays and doing my monologues and so on and so forth, and the whole other person that I could portray. And
I got you, stop you with everything in me. I'm not preaching, need you to stand with me. Been where you been, stood in your shoes. Tears burn my cheek from the words that they spew. It gets better.
I had to have some sort of social life to be interested. I just needed an outlet, and my mother was not having me, just drop out. That was not going down. So my mother did everything in her power to help me graduate, and it just worked out that way. I was blessed.
I feel all alone. I feel like a stranger.
I wasn't out all the way, but I was. I was confused, didn't know exactly which way to go.
I think her being gay kind of like made things a little sour, I said.
Okay. And that was because of what they believed in terms of Christianity?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't act on it until after I graduated. Plus my father had passed away, so my father, it was a hard man. He wasn't an easy man. So, it was some times where my father was rather stern with me, very stern with me, so that I could understand. I think that's what it all boiled down to, because I see a lot of my father in myself. So I kind of see where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? So
When did he pass away?
He passed away in '99, in April 1999. It was in a car accident. Him and the driver were drunk, and my father ended up dying. He went out of the windshield, and the driver had a broken leg. But
wow.
Yeah.
What grade were you in at that time?
I was a senior. Yeah,
so
99.
Right when everything was happening.
Yeah, prom and everything. So it was crazy. It was hard.
How did you manage to get through that pain that you felt?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know how I got through it. I'm not through it still. I just don't think about it. And when I graduated, it was nothing. And it was such an emptiness inside of me. It was so empty. And I was longing for a way to still perform, and wanted to do it for the community, wanted to get paid, and I saw the Queens, and that's just, I can remember what I was wearing the first time I seen a Queen.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I remember the moment, the first time I seen a Queen perform, and I just wanted to do it.
Had you had any kind of interaction? Well, not interaction. Had you seen Queens before, like RuPaul or something like that?
Not really. It wasn't like that. It was interesting because I was trying to find out who I was and what I was trying to do, and didn't know if I was supposed to be with a man or not. I just was out there. I felt like I wanted to be out there with other people that have similar feelings like myself.
And so obviously, when you heard what she was doing with her life, in terms of her male illusion entertaining, was that a shocking thing to you, or what was your first thought?
My first thought, if anything, was shocking, was how good she was. And I'm a person, if you do, that's awesome. That's what the most if you have to say anything shocking to it, was how good she is at her craft, at her job.
Okay. So that was the first thing you thought.
Yeah.
You saw her perform and you were like, holy shit.
Yeah. Basically, like, you know, anybody, if you see somebody building a house and it's on deck, it's on point, anyone to be good at their craft like that, that's going to blow you away. So, yeah.
Wow.
But I do wonder what my father would think of me now than what I was, you know. I used to have boyfriends and stuff like that, like, so I don't know how he would react to me now in the lifestyle that I chose for myself. So.
Again, don't know how and where to turn, but then keep your head up and you just hold on. Keep your head up and you just move on.
The event was supposed to start at 7 o'clock, and you know, it's not organized, and I don't like that, and it's not a good look for Nation. I just need you to carry it.
Carry a table?
Yes, a table, honey. A table.
I'm the performance. I can't do that.
Well, you know what? I'm the first lady, so.
Got to have the Moscato.
Hollywood, how would you describe the first lady?
Oh man, what about my love?
She's very kind before anything. She's such a girl. Such a fucking lady.
Is it fair to say that she's cunt?
Yeah. Yes, cunt.
Well, what did she say after Monday? After the performance? Did she have a good time?
Oh yeah, she enjoyed herself. She always enjoys. We always have a good time together. She's my best friend ever. I love her to death.
Sometimes we use it as a compliment, and it's just like the epitome of like fierce, like cunt, like you know, femme, total femme.
Okay.
We actually met on AOL.
Okay.
I was one addictive Coco, and she was soft girl 20. And to this day, don't laugh.
No, it's cute. It's so cute.
Her mother is very open-minded and supportive. She's very good to us. Her mother loves her unconditionally. That's her baby girl. So her father's getting used to me. You know, that's his little girl. So her brother's cool with me. I mean, I love her family, the people, the ones that I've met. If they're anything like the family that I've already met, then there ain't gonna be no problem.
I'm a 7.5. Baby's a 7.
Yes.
6.5.
2012. Here we go. I have to do it right. I have to do it the right way. Asking questions. You have to ask questions the right way. You can't just.
My family accept her as a person, but as far as our relationship is concerned, they don't care for it at all. So, you know, that's a struggle in itself. But, you know, can't change that.
So what is your role in her entertainment career?
Basically, I have to keep her happy first so that she can get off a good show. And of course, I do that because I just...
Because you are the first lady.
She is definitely the addition that I've always wanted, needed, yearned for, cried out for. She is definitely she makes me weak, so she's a weakness of mine.
Nation, sometimes if you pay attention, she'll put her hands on her hips. She'll have that twitch in her walk. You just have to pay attention.
Now you got sort of upset when your twin sister asked you to wear a dress at her wedding.
Yeah, I mean, of course it was something that upset me because that's not what I normally would wear. But it's her wedding. It's her wedding. That's what she wants. And I can give her that. I'm not against that. You know, I would definitely feel a little bit uncomfortable because that's not what I'm used to.
So you did Nation when she went to her sister's wedding? You did her makeup?
Yeah, I did the transformation.
How was that?
It was really fun, but actually it wasn't the only thing that was transforming was the hair and the makeup. Well, the different kind of makeup, you know. And it was all Nation.
My baby is beautiful both ways.
How did you accept the transformation? How did that make you feel to see her look just as cunt as you?
I was waiting on this day. Like, I was counting down the days, and when I saw it, it just like took my breath away. She was so beautiful, and she actually got into character. She really was someone else. As she would say, Antoinette. Antoinette was worried about her hair. Antoinette was more organized than Nation, which surprised me.
Wow.
Yeah, but she was beautiful. That's fine. We can just do it without it.
I don't have any plans, aspirations, wants, needs to change my sex or gender. I don't have a problem with who I am at all. I'm just a different kind of girl.
She's bitchy like a femme as well.
Yes, I agree.
She's sensitive, and I love that.
I know Nation told me that she considers herself a soft butch, and at the end of the night, when the show is over, it comes off, and she's a woman.
Clothes don't make the person make the person. And if I had on a dress, I would flip it just like I was. I mean, it is what it is. I'm a female. I can't deny that. And I don't wake up and go to bed every morning wishing that I was a man. Never.
Hey, that's Nation. Teach his own.
Right. How are you? So you like to be referred to as a he?
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry.
Like when I saw you yesterday, I was about to say, "What's up, sis?" That's not no.
I'm just gonna correct you. You know, and a lot of people they feel a different way about it, but it's just that's my livelihood. This is not a game to me. This is how I live. And as soon as I get the money to get them off, they're gone.
As bad as my period is, I still have it every month. I'm abroad.
But,
okay.
Definitely.
So you do consider yourself a transgender female?
Well, that's the question. Is it about the performance or is it lifestyle?
You know? I won't say transgender.
It's just the fact of not wanting to have to bind all the time.
Okay. Right. Okay, so it really is about being a performer.
Right.
No, not about performing. It's walking around. Nobody wants to walk around like that. Like, I'm not going to walk around anywhere like that. Never.
You cannot call my pops knows her. Like, that's just not the business.
I know I confuse a lot of people because I use the male bathroom. No matter where I go, I'm walking in the male's bathroom. And I use the urinal. I don't go in the stalls. I'm going to stop at this urinal and use it. And that causes a lot of confusion too, because especially when we're doing pageants and different stuff, like I thought y'all said there was a girl running for this, stud pageant there and using the urinal. But
how do you do that?
FTM products. It's FTM products. I mean, it's products out there. So I mean, I've been in the urinal looking, and people were like, I thought that was a girl. So they'll peep over the stall and look, and then they'll see it hanging like that is a dude, because it's realistic. It's soft. It ain't like hard, and it's just if you saw him using the urinal, you're like, oh my goodness, this is a man. So
we won't make you show us, will we?
How do you feel about that? I mean,
that's her personal view. I mean, his personal view, excuse me.
And that's where it gets confusing too. When people say, okay, well, I want to have my chest redone. Oh, well, so you are transgender, that's not necessarily it either.
That's his, like my life is different. That's why I live here, because I'm different.
It's just the fact of, like, looking like Nella. Nella has it harder than me because trying to bind and different stuff like that. Like, we're about to order a different binder for Nella online.
How do you feel about, the fact that they seem to identify more as he's, but Nation doesn't? I mean, is that one of the reasons why she came back home to North Carolina?
I think that it causes confusion between genders when you're trying to explain what you would like to be, because everyone, tries every day to get people to understand, and when it gets more technical, female, femme, stud, all that, it's hard.
They definitely didn't identify with the word transgender.
It is what it is. I, myself, and me, and they are them. Like, Sincere feels a certain way about himself. Heavenly feels this way about herself. Like, they're personal people. You feel me? And all I know is the category. I can't put myself in a category. I know I'm a woman.
For them to call themselves a he when you were born a girl. I mean, you can be what you want to be. You can call yourself what you want to call yourself. But, you know, Nation can identify with that because she knows she was born a female. Can we cut for a second?
Even if a black woman is feeling like she could be a transgender, you know, is that just something that the black community doesn't accept? You know?
I think it's taboo. I definitely think it's a taboo word.
Yeah.
I think it's like black and white. It's like black and white. I think that society sees usually women that are like myself as transgendered, not wanting to inquire and ask questions on what we believe in and what we want, you know. That's really what it is. Like, you see stories about transgendered Americans. You don't never see any stories about females who are females but are like the masculine kind.
Yeah.
You know, or any stories that's involving them.
As a community, we are all supposed to work together to make it a little bit easier and a little bit better for the next person that's coming out. And for you to discriminate when we're being discriminated on is sort of kind of
backwards.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people who think that, or may believe that it doesn't really take a lot of work to be a king or a male illusionist, but you know, if you would actually go into the dressing rooms and see what it takes to be a queen or a king, you will see just how dedicated the artists and the entertainers are, male or female.
Tonight is 313 Ladies Night. We want to welcome each and every one of you out tonight. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us.
So won't you come up right from home, babe? Don't keep me waiting. Here's your chance.
T-Dre Productions is a troupe of entertainers that travel to different venues and pretty much shut it down. We run the club, we run the spot, we run the show, we run everything. We offer quality entertainment, like entertainers that are crowned nationally and that are, you know, have been doing this for years, as well as entertainers that are up and coming and that are trying to learn the craft a little bit more. We try to take our time, and we actually have rehearsals on Mondays, every other Monday, to help those that, you know, want the help or want to develop the craft a little more, learn a little bit more. They can practice, do whatever, practice production numbers, make music. I don't see anybody else out here working like I'm working. I'm trying to reach a different avenue. I'm trying to make it so that we are just as marketable as the queens are across the country.
No, she's constantly evolving, constantly up to date on Usher. It's not my personal favorite. She's up to date on.
Well, I'm very proud of her. You know, all this is like still new to me. What's really going on with the whole situation, but I'm up for it, and you know, I support her all the way with it.
You know what? I just think that it hasn't been brought to the forefront as like it should be. And that's what Nation is doing.
As long as Nation's been in North Carolina, Nation should have been, you know, be more accepted now. I mean, just slowly working in now.
A lot of the family did not like it, but you know, they have to accept. That's something you have to accept.
See, people always want to say something about something. It's up to you what you do.
If you're gonna do it like Nation. If you're gonna half-ass, step the fuck back.
How many years?
For real, because like, it's so many people that do it horribly that make it harder for her when it's time for her to do her thing.
I want to share what I have with everyone possible, and I don't think that the opportunities would be as great as I have where I am now. Where I can, you know, I have a home base, I have my family here, and then I can expand and go other places. I always can come home. Never be a place like home.
Y'all put y'all hands together for Nation Tyre, all the way from North Carolina.
So they try to get you down about yourself, they skirt. If you're feeling deterred, just remember my words. It can only get better, life is what you deserve. You're strong. I'm a lone ranger. I feel all alone. I feel like a stranger.
Okay, director, we're ready.
So yeah, tell us about Mount Vernon, because you rap about it a lot in your music, the burn. What do you call it, the burning?
Murderville, Money Earning Mount Vernon, The Vern, 4 Square Miles.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
yep.
All those.
Mount
Vernon, New York.
All day. Home of Heavy D, Denzel Washington, Felicia Rashad, Dick Clark, the list goes on. Kim for Life, you know what I'm saying? A lot of big people come out of Mount Vernon. So
We definitely-
we wrote and produced the joint, you know what I'm saying? We do our own tracks, so you gotta eat tracks for this up. But
Collaborated on the entire thing from our verses. Of course, we always write our own verses. Noah and I collaborated on the hook. Noah produced the track. We invited some awesome, amazing artists to be a part of it. Tora Torres and Nefertiti, as well as Studology 101, DZ and Pooks, and they kind of took what we gave them and they went with it. They were happy to be a part of it. They loved our direction, and it was just amazing actually working and writing for other artists for something that was such a special topic to us.
More than 1/3 of LGBT youth report having made a suicide attempt. Nearly half of young transgender people have seriously thought about taking their lives, and 1/4 report having made a suicide attempt.
it's an epidemic. You know, suicide within the LGBT community, especially for young people, is an epidemic, unfortunately. And it's been addressed by people, but nobody really within the community that can truly relate, that has been through it. And we felt it was our duty to shine light on it and, you know, to continue to talk about it, because people died off. You know, she could speak more passionately about it because this is something that she experienced herself, you know, with the thoughts of suicide and stuff like that. So.
That's very true. If a lot of people don't know about Kim for Life's history, in 2008 we came out on a PBS documentary series called In the Life, and during that series I let the public know, number one, that I'm a lesbian African-American female, and then number two, in high school I didn't know what to do. I come from an amazing family. I was afraid, and so instead of, I'm not gonna front, I was a punk, and I want everybody to be a punk. I was afraid to commit suicide, but I wanted to. I didn't know what to do, so I faked it. And I told that story on PBS. I took a bunch of pills, threw them down the toilet, only took 1 or 2, wrote like a fake dramatic letter to my mother, and then she came up, "You tried to kill yourself, oh my God, da 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 da." And I just wanted to tell her that I was gay, and I've been through that. I know what the feelings were when I thought that I wanted to take my life. And fortunate enough for me, I had such a great family structure, such great friends around me, that I kind of did it the fake way to get attention. And I just kind of, it meant a lot to me. And I just didn't want it to leave. All the drama and hype around it, and the It's Get Better campaign, and all the famous people talking about it that never went through it. I wanted people to know that when you look at me, you're looking at you, and I've been through it.
The song was a direct statement to people who are going through the situation, and we wanted to speak directly to the people who felt alone. That's why the song is called Lone Ranger. Like, you feel like you're riding down this road, but really at the end of the song it says that there's hope after all, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And we got a lot of friends and people in our media circle who are transgender, and you know, people need to be aware of that and be respectful.
Respect
that. You know, address a person how they feel that it needs to be addressed. You're not gonna sit up here and call a woman who identifies as a man she. Call her he. You know, call him he. And shout out to all my transgender.
Shout out to my dude, Sir Jesse, and he will tell you every time that respect me as a he. That's my dude, Sir Jesse. Shout out to my homie.
Definitely it's taboo because people are still trying to find the confidence in themselves to identify who they are. And then when a whole sexuality comes into play, that makes it even more worse when you're trying to identify your actual gender. So it's something that we have to work past, but it's all education. You know, stop being ignorant. If you're curious, ask a person. And most of the time they're gonna give you the answers, you know, just ask in a nice way. It has the whole part of people living, especially in the black community with the whole label thing, it has been a major issue for us because we've always been the type of people to kind of not label ourselves. And that has confused people in our community. They always like, oh, why you got makeup on? Or why your hair is out? Like sometimes I rock, you know, bangs and my hair is out. I got braids now, but I'll get a little bit more femme. And I feel like a lot of the times I have to explain myself. And, you know, it's made it a little bit harder. But at the same time, it started to change people's view of how you should view lesbians, that we're not all put in one set category. And we're opening up people's minds to see, like, hey, you don't have to be forced to stay inside this box. Like, you can go and be who you want to be and date who you want to date and feel good about yourself at the same time. So
the biggest surprise and craziness for me was when we dropped our hit single Makeup Girl in 2008. And I mean, we were 11 weeks straight on Logo. I mean, it just got us coverage in Out Magazine, Curve, major LGBT publications. And when we went online to look at the feedback, our stud, what they categorize themselves as stud, our stud at AG sisters in the community was going hammer on our video. Why are you guys wearing makeup? What the hell? First of all, the video is called Makeup Girl, so there'll be a nice play on words. Second of all, we're going on major network TV. We're showing ourselves to be beautiful women representing you and making major network TV with LGBT themes in the video. And the only thing they were concerned about was that I possibly had on some foundation and a little bit of eyeshadow and mascara. And I was just floored by the whole thing.
like the message is be who you're going to be. Do what you're going to do as long as you're not hurting nobody and you're living your life in a positive manner. And that's what you can do.
Don't be a statistic. It gets better.
Keep your head up and you just hold on. Keep your head up and you just move on. I'm on this lonely road again. Don't know how and where to turn, but then keep your head up and you just hold on. Keep your head up and you just move on. I need you to take your clothes off, take them off. I love that chase. You know I love that taste.
Well, when do we get to talk about me?